Yeah, yeah. Good evening, all. So myself, I'm Vijay. Like I hold 20 plus years of experience in different technologies like Java, Informatica, Big Data, Hadoop, Spark, and this Azure Data Engineering, right? Yes, Azure Data Factory, Databricks, and Synapse Analytics. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not? Yes.
Hi sir, this is Arif.
Yeah,
Yeah, your screen is visible, sir, and you are also audible.
fine. Thank you. So thanks for the confirmation. So as part of today's demo, I'll be covering the following things. If you have got any general queries, I will be giving time for you at the end of the session. Right. So as part of today's demo, I'll be covering the following things, right? Yes. Why data engineer? Why data engineer is required? Previously, we have got, if you go back, we have got a traditional ETL developer. How a traditional ETL developer is as compared with that, how a data engineer difference between a data engineer and a traditional ETL developer, right? And role of Azure data engineer. Difference between a data engineer, data scientist, and a data analyst, right? And Azure data engineering products, various data engineering products and services, and Azure, that is Azure data engineer job market, right? Yes. See, talking about a data engineer as compared with a traditional ETL developer, we used to say ETL developer previously, like if you go back like 10 to 15 years back, we used to say we have got ETL developer, there were no data engineers. How a data engineer different from ETL developer? What is the difference? ETL developer, if you see, mostly was handling structured data. But if I talk about a data engineer, he has to work with all varieties of data. He need to handle all types of data, structured data, semi-structured, unstructured, NoSQL data, streaming data, all kind of data he need to handle, right? He has to work with the data. He need to handle the data. He need to pull the data. He need to transform the data. He need to load the data. He need to filter the data. All this he need to work with the data, and the two all varieties of data, all formats of data he need to work with. Now, as part of this course, we'll be using a cloud, the two Azure cloud. We are going to use Azure cloud. Now everything we are moving towards cloud, so that's why the cloud we are using is Azure. And if talking about cloud, it's majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering data. It is majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering data in various form. Generally, you may ask previously, okay, we are doing everything on premises, uh, but why cloud? And what are the advantages of cloud over the on-premise? Advantages of cloud over the on-premise. If I talk about a on-premise database, or if we talk about an on-premise system, right? We need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. We need to set up everything. We need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. On top of that, OS installation and purchasing of database license and installation of database server and designing database objects. So we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure, and we need to install OS, and we need to purchase the database license and installation of database server and designing a database objects. Again, to maintain all this, to perform all this, we require separate teams. Observe here, to maintain all this, right? We require separate teams. Like hardware team is required, operating system team for installing operating system, and for networking team for network connectivity, security team, and database administrator for creating database objects. So separate teams are required, but here everything in the cloud premises. But if you go to the cloud, no need of all this, everything in the cloud premises, we no need to maintain all this. No need to maintain any infrastructure. No need to maintain any licenses. So everything in the cloud environment. So we are going with the cloud. It will be very simple. Everything will be managed within the cloud itself. Fine. Now, data engineers with the help of this cloud services, with the help of these cloud services, they work on the data and make it structured and useful. Data engine is the main responsibility for smooth data flow. Data engine is responsible for smooth data flow from the source to destination. So data just now, just before I was talking, right? Data engine is responsible for preparing the data, filtering the data, that is cleansing the data, transforming the data, and processing the data. So they're responsible for preparing, cleansing, transforming, and processing the data. They work with the data. Data has got experience. Data has got future reference. Using data, we perform all these operations, right? And if I talk about the difference, most of the students ask the difference between a data engineer, what a data engineer does, what a data scientist and data analyst. If I talk data scientist in a simple way, data scientist, so he's going to strategizes for the future, recommendations for the future, strategizing for the future, that is recommendations for the future, and data analyst summarizes the past. In a simple way, data scientist strategizes for the future, recommendations for the future. Okay, he is going to analyze the data, he is going to identify the key patterns within the data, and is going to recommend for the future, strategizes for the future. But what data analyst on the other side is going to summarize the past and is going to visualize the data of the past. You to analyze the data, you to summarize the data, and going to visualize the data of the past. So data scientist has got many responsibilities. He is going to perform data analysis, data predictions, data classifications, data clustering, and data recommendations. So here data scientist performs all these analysis predictions. Data analyst summarizing and visualizing the data of the past. Data engineer mainly does data management. What do you mean by data management? Data storage and data processing taken. Data storage and data processing not taken care by this data scientist or analyst. Understand here, the data storage and data processing, data management not taken care by data analyst or data engineer takes care of those data management, data storage, data processing, filtering, cleansing, preparing, transforming, all this taken by this data engineer. So here if I talk nearly around 70 to 80% of data analysis work is done by data engineers, right? More than 70-80% of this data analysis work is done by data engineers. So data engineers, they does all the groundwork. They does all the groundworks for data scientist and analyst. More than 80% of data analysis work is done by data engineers. So what data engineering involves? What data engineering involves means what are the sources from where you need to pull the data from? What are the sources from where you need to pull the data or extract the data from? And what is the format of the data? And how to transform or process the data as per the requirement, as per the need or requirement. And finally, what is the destination of the data? What is the destination where you need to dump the data to? Okay. Okay. So this is the difference between a data engineer, data scientist, and data analyst. Data engineer, data scientist, and data analyst. Now, why Azure Data Engineer is in demand today? Why Azure Data Engineer is in demand today? Just coming back, right? Why Azure Data Engineer required? Why Azure Data Engineer? And why Azure Data Engineer is in demand? Why Azure Data Engineer in demand today, right? Yes. If I talk, just observe this example, right? Just observe this example. If I talk about any organization, an organization, I'm taking an organization, right? An organization wants to increase the business revenue. It wants to increase the business revenue by utilizing the customer behavioral data on its website. So the organization using Azure for its operation. So it's mainly going to hire two people. It's mainly hiring two people. One is data scientist. The other one is Azure data engineer. One is data engineer, right? Other is data scientist. So first this data engineer is going to create data warehouse, is going to create data warehouse. Yes, for the organization. A data warehouse is the storage of structured and queryable data. It is a storage of structured and queryable data. It contains data from various resources such as new users, the clicks, existing customer data. So data engineer is going to structure this data and stores it and monitors it in this data warehouse. Secondly, data engineer is going to communicate with the data scientist, is going to communicate with the data scientist to understand the data requirement, to understand the data requirement. He also communicates with the business team to know the business requirement of the organization. That means the Azure data engine, this data engineer has to keep in mind, data engineer has to keep in mind, means the business needs while dealing with the data in the hand. See, this data scientist, so later the data scientists, they are going to create some insights from the processed data of data engineer. And later the business team, they use dashboard tools for visualizing of key insights. So here data engineer keep constantly, they are going to process, analyze and monitor the data. They are going to constantly process, analyze and monitor the data. Yes. Data engineer going to create a data pipeline. They are going to create a data pipeline. They are going to create a data pipeline through which the data is integrated with all the crucial stages. With the data is integrated with all the crucial stages of the data flow. He also makes sure, data engineer also makes sure that the pipeline is always efficient and secure without any data leaks or data exposure. Right? So this is the primary role of Azure data engineer, a data engineer, right? A data engineer professional. So just creating data warehouse, storing the data in the data warehouse, creating data warehouse for the organization, storing it and also constantly processing, analyzing and monitoring the data, creating data pipelines and also securing the data pipelines without any data leaks or data exposure. This is the primary role. If I see, there are many other roles of this Azure data engineer. If I say a role of Azure data engineer, role of Azure data engineer, role of Azure data engineer, first one, like designing designing the entire data flow architecture, designing the entire data flow architecture, designing the entire data flow architecture. Secondly, creating a data warehouse, creating a data warehouse, creating data warehouse for storage of analytical data. Okay, creating data warehouse for storage of analytical data. So okay, this creating data warehouse makes fast and easy to query the data for data analysis. And also like the key task of Azure Data Engineer ETL, extract, transform and load. What is that? Extract, transform and load. Extract, transform, and load. Extract, transform, and load is one of the key tasks of data engineer. It is one of the key tasks of data engineer. They need to extract data from multiple resources, transform it into structured and queryable data, then loading data into this company storage service for further business evaluations by the data scientists. So ETL, one of the key tasks of data engineer, and also like data monitoring, the various other tasks like data monitoring, right? Yes. Means make sure that the ETL is performed in a proper way and the data is available everywhere and anywhere where it is required, right? And data security, right? Yes. Mm. Ensuring data security is also major responsibility of data engineer. The data need to be secure at each step of the process without any data leaks or data exposures. And also like a collaboration and communication, right? Yes. Already said, right? We need to data scientist means they need to constantly communicate with the business team to check the requirement and also collaborating with the data scientist to deliver the data as per their need, as per their requirement, right? Yes. Collaboration, right? Yes. Analytics. Analytics. Data engineers analyze the data and transform it into structured and useful format. See, they need to have some strong analytical skills to perform this kind of analysis. And certain thing has to be automation. Certain things we need to automate certain processes like which require minimal human intervention. Example like data extraction process. So major responsibilities of data engineer: designing entire data flow architecture, creating data warehouse for storage of analytical data, extract, transform, and load, data monitoring, data security, collaboration, analytics, and automation. If I talk about this Azure data engineering products or services, now various Azure data engineering products or services. So first like Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Data Lake Storage, Azure Data Lake Storage. We say like ADLS, Azure Data Lake Storage, Azure Synapse Analytics. Next, Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Factory, right? We say like ADF, Azure Databricks, Azure Databricks, ADB, Azure Synapse Analytics. So already we have seen Azure Streaming, Azure Streaming, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Cosmos DB, and Azure Key Vault. Azure Key Vault. So in a simple one line, I'll describe what are these things. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Streaming. First one, Azure SQL. In a single line or single word, Azure SQL. It is a cloud RDBMS. Cloud RDBMS. It's a cloud RDBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. Cloud RDBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is for OLTP operations. It is for OLTP, online transactional processing. It is for OLTP operations, right? Yes. What OLTP does? OLTP captures, OLTP system captures, OLTP system captures end user transactions. This is not for data warehouse. So simple way, Azure SQL, it is a cloud ODBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is for OLTP operations. Next, second, like data lake, Azure data lake. Azure data lake in a single word. So we have got in, if you have got big knowledge on this big data Hadoop, we got HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system. So here also some distributed file system, distributed file system with unlimited data storage, in cloud, in cloud. That is data lake. That is what? Data lake. So even HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system. Previously, we got Hadoop distributed for file system. It is a on-premise one, not cloud. On-premise distributed file system. But Azure Data Lake, what I'm talking just Azure Data Lake, right? It's Cloud DFS, Cloud Distributed File System, Cloud DFS, right? Next, like Azure Synapse Analytics. Azure Synapse Analytics. We talk about Azure Synapse for data warehouse operations. Mainly used for data warehouse operations, for big data operations, for analytics, for batch processing, for batch processing, for parallel processing, for data warehouse operations, for big data operations, for analytics, for batch processing, and for parallel processing, right? Yes. So batch processing or batch application means user non-interactive applications. We have got two types of applications, batch applications and online applications. If I say online applications means user interactive applications, user gives the input, making a online transaction, making booking a movie ticket, making a all these are online applications. Compulsory user gives the input. User gives the request, gets the response, request response. But batch applications are not like use request response, not for request response, not for online transactional processing. Batch applications, user is no way required. User doesn't give any input. Millions and trillions of records we'll be dealing with batch. That's why we say the name batch. Parallel processing, right? One second. And next, Azure Data Factory, one of the important component here for in Azure data engineering. Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Factory, ADF is Azure Data Factory. See, in a simple way, see, already we have got many on-premise ETL tools are there. So here also Azure Data Factory is a ETL tool. That too, it is a cloud-based, in a simple way, it is a cloud-based ETL. It is a cloud ETL or cloud-based ETL. Cloud ETL or cloud-based ETL, right? Yes, cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure. In Azure, right? Yes. In Azure Cloud Platform. ADF is acts as an integration service. So just in a simple way, it is a ETL. That too, just like Informatica, it is a on-premise, but same way, same like Informatica, we have a ETL tool in cloud, that is Azure Data Factory, cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure. Azure Databricks, Azure Databricks. This is also one of the very important component of Azure Data Engineering. Azure Databricks. ADB, we say Azure Databricks. In a simple way, it is it is a very high speed Apache Spark based. It is a very okay. Otherwise, I can say it is Apache Spark based. Apache Spark based data analytics platform. It is Apache Spark based data analytics platform. Azure Databricks, it is a Apache Spark based data analytics platform, right? Yes. Next, Azure Streaming. Azure Streaming. Extracting or analyzing and processing capturing, analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data from multiple sources simultaneously. Streaming data means data which keeps on generating, data which keeps on incrementing, data which keeps on generating, data which keeps on incrementing. Such data we call it as streaming data. And Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Cosmos DB. Just in a simple way, just like MongoDB, it is a NoSQL database, the two cloud-based NoSQL database. It is a cloud-based NoSQL database. It is a cloud-based NoSQL database. It is a cloud-based NoSQL database, right? Yes. Next, Azure Key Vault. Azure Key Vault. Secure key management. I can say like secure key management. Secure key management to protect data in the cloud. To protect the data in the cloud. Secure key management to protect data in the cloud. Okay. So here, right. So Azure SQL in a simple way, it's a cloud RDBMS. Just check it. Azure SQL, it's a cloud RDBMS. Data Lake, it's a kind of file system, distributed file system. Synapse Analytics for data warehouse operations, for big data operations. Data Factory for ETL, the two cloud ETL. Databricks, Apache Spark based data analytics platform, streaming for capturing and processing high streams of high data, streaming data, capturing and processing high volumes of streaming data, that too from multiple sources simultaneously. Cosmos DB NoSQL database, that too cloud-based NoSQL database, and the secure key management for protecting the data in the cloud. So as part of this course, right, just I'll be discussing Azure Data Engineer. Azure Data Engineer, right. In this first, I'll be discussing about Azure Data Factory. Azure Data, no prerequisites, no coding for this. ADF, no prerequisites, zero coding ETL, zero coding, right? No coding, no prerequisites, right? And apart from this, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Databricks. Main discussions will be Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, ADB with PySpark. So Spark has got very high demand, right? In today's industry, that too. PySpark has got, it will be had lot of weightage to your resume. That too, not like overview, like other training sites. We'll be discussing in brief about this PySpark here in this entire PySpark will be discussed. Apart from this, here Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Synapse Analytics, and also like apart from this, you'll be getting knowledge on this. These are the main discussions: Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, PySpark, and Azure Synapse Analytics. Apart from this, like Fabrics introduction. And these are the main discussions. Apart from this, you will be getting knowledge on this as Azure Data Factory, as a Azure Data, as a Data Factory developer, as a Databricks developer, as a PySpark developer, as a Synapse developer, right? As a data engineer, right? You will be interacting with this Azure Data Lake, Azure Data Lake. You will be getting the knowledge on this Azure Data Lake. You will be getting knowledge on this Azure SQL and Azure Streaming. Okay. So just you can check with this course content, right? Yes. What I'll be discussing, starting with this overview of Azure resources, Data Factory, Databricks, Data Lake, Azure SQL Server, Key Vault, Synapse, Cosmos DB streaming, Azure Data Factory, the building blocks, pipelines, activities, links, data sets, triggers, pipelines. What is a pipeline? Creating pipeline, organizing pipeline, debugging, publishing, linker service, creating linker service for different components, data sets, working with data sets with for Avro file, binary, CSV, Excel, JSON, ORC, for all kinds of file formats. Activities, different types of activity, copy activity, get metadata, filter activity. For each activity, different types of activities. Triggers, scheduled trigger, tumbling window trigger, storage trigger, custom trigger, integration runtimes, data flows, data flow debug, transformations, different types of transformations, validating schema, schema drift, SCD type 1, slowly changing dimension, type 1, type 2, and around 50 exercises I'll be discussing right in this copy data activity, data flows and all compared like 50 practical exercises we'll be discussing. And coming to the Databricks, the prerequisites for Databricks, like I'll be giving overview on this big data, I'll be giving that knowledge on this big data, Hadoop and Spark before we go with Azure Databricks. And you can check this, creating Azure Databricks service, creating Databricks service, adding users and groups, creating cluster, and displaying cluster, starting cluster, terminating a cluster, deleting a cluster, cluster information, cluster logs, Cluster access control, types of cluster, all-purpose cluster, job cluster, Databricks pool, Databricks without pools, Databricks with pools, cluster mode, standard, high concurrency, single node, auto scaling, Databricks runtime versions, multi-user clusters, right? Databricks utilities, credential utility, data utility, file system utility, job utility, library utility, notebook utility, secrets utility, widget utility, limitations of utilities. Databricks integration with blob storage, Azure Data Lake, Azure SQL database, Synapse. Databricks handling multiple file formats, CSV data, JSON data, Parquet, Excel, XML, ORC, Avro. Databricks batch processing, historical data load, incremental data load, date aggregations, giants operations, right? Yes. Databricks Lakehouse, features of Delta Lake, creating Delta Lake, how DML operations, handling SCD type 1, type 2, workflows in Databricks. Yes. And Azure Synapse, in brief about this Azure Synapse, working with this. Azure Synapse triggers, Azure SQL database, loading Azure Synapse in Azure Synapse, deep dive into copy activity, data flows into this, and Spark pool introduction in Azure Synapse, right? It's in this everything I'll be discussing. And apart from this, you'll be getting the knowledge of total PySpark, and also like you'll be getting knowledge on data lake, Azure SQL streaming, right? Yes. And second, offerings from my side, you'll be getting each and every session video, live session video, right? Each and every session will be recorded. You will be getting the session video. Even if you miss any session, you can go to the recording and you can attend the next session. A clear soft copy of these notes. Assignments and tasks to work. Okay. Yeah. So a WhatsApp group will be created where you can have direct interaction with me. WhatsApp group. If you got any errors, you can take the snap of it and post in the WhatsApp group. Interactive hands-on sessions. The task, if you want, you can do parallelly along with me. Interactive sessions. At any point, you can ask any query during the session. You will be kept in unmuted status. And hands-on sessions. The task you can do parallelly along with me. Right. Interview questions. Around 200 interview questions I'll be providing. Resumes. Okay. Plus, apart from this, DurgaSoft is offering these offerings from my side, but DurgaSoft is offering uh, some 5,000 worth videos on this Unix, Linux shell scripting, right? Yes. Videos, around 120 videos. Access you'll be given that of Mr. Durga sir. Right, plus MySQL videos. So totally this both worth around 5,000 worth video access will be provided freely once you get enrolled for this course. Unix, Linux, shell scripting, you'll be getting the videos for all this, right? Azure Data Engineering. This duration will be around 3 months. 3 months is the duration for this course, where we'll be mainly discussing on this data factory, Databricks, PySpark, and Azure Synapse Analytics, right? Fine. So if you got any queries, you can go with your queries. Tomorrow also, everyone can attend the session same time at 7 o'clock using the same link to see more discussion on it, right? If you got any queries, you can just check with your queries, right? Yes.
Hi, sir. Can I ask one question?
Yes, go ahead.
You said like there is no coding. So there is any Python or SQL is very handy for them.
Yes. So here I said there is no coding for Azure Data Factory. It is codeless, zero coding,
It is
codeless. It is code free, but it is in Azure Databricks, we'll be writing code. Here will be writing in Databricks, right? Like we'll be writing some code. not that lengthy codes, like some Python code will be there. So you need to have basic Python knowledge. Even you will be provided videos, basic Python videos,
So there is
basic
any specific
Python.
specification for this.
See, one second. So what is the prerequisite for this means basic Python, basic SQL knowledge is required. For this, for even like basics of Hadoop and Spark is required that I'll be covering as part of the course, right? Basic Spark. So not only Spark, entire PySpark I'll be discussing, I said, and what are the prerequisites required, but basic Python knowledge is required. But just before we go with the practicals, I'll be just briefing you about the Python syntaxes. And also, if you want, you can also check with that videos, around 30 videos will be provided on this, around 35 videos for this on this, and 120 videos for all these videos will be provided. You can check it. So for this first ADF will be going on. If for ADF there is no prerequisites, nothing, no prerequisites all, it takes around 25 days. We'll be discussing for around 25 to 30 days. Meanwhile, within this 25-30 days, you can just go with this basic Python videos and this MySQL if it doesn't have knowledge on it. So Databricks, basic SQL, basic Python is required. You will be writing some code in this.
Only here we write.
Here, this is code based. This is code
Okay.
based. This is code free. This totally code free. This is code based only. This is code based only. This is also code based only, right? Means we won't be writing that much huge codes as Python looks like normal English statements. Just a small little basic Python knowledge is enough for it. Not like the total Python is not, we'll be using it. Fine.
The working environment, like in development side, the jobs are there, or in support side, support.
Development side only, right? Here, total, this is actually, if we talk about this here in Data Factory, in Databricks or Synapse, totally this Spark is the main execution engine, right?
Yes.
It is used, Spark is used for executions, processing, right? So totally for development only, we'll be concentrating here in this. So step by step, everything will be dealt from the ground level to the advanced level. So whatever the configuration settings, everything you can do parallelly. If any errors, you can share the screen in the Zoom. I will be rectifying the things. If any
So,
any queries or doubts, immediately you can unmute, you can ask during the session itself. Fine.
so the
Yeah.
real time after the completion of this course, can we directly put into the Naukri, or we need to have any certification for this?
So certification also like by this much discussions, right? Like around 3 months we are discussing on it. You can also go for certifications. Like you will be getting a typical 3 plus 4 plus years of experience person. How much knowledge he is going to gain? That much of knowledge you can go directly. You can apply for the job. So
So
even
if I
previously,
became data,
previously, one second, previously even once the data factory is completed, Databricks, most of the students, if you see, whenever this Databricks PySpark is completed, they started applying for the jobs and attending the Synapse parallelly, and they were applying for the jobs. So even most of them has got jobs before this course is completed itself, right? Fine. Because the main thing, this is the main thing, Databricks and the PySpark is the main thing, right? Where they are looking for currently. Means if you want some bigger, huge salary packages, so this PySpark and this Databricks will add more weightage to your resume, and mostly in the you will be tested on these skills. Even if we talk about the salaries and the packages, right? Even you can demand for the packages, especially for the Azure data engineering kind of course, right? For this kind of technology, you can demand for the salaries because at the same time you need to have some technical skills, right? You need to have some strong technicals that where you are going to gain during this course. So everything will be practical oriented. Nothing is theoretical here, right? Yes.
so in this we have to learn Azure basics also, sir. Like there is no need.
So that everything during this examples, when what all the examples, multiple examples will be working with during that you will be getting knowledge on all those things. Azure basics, everything I'll be covering right before we go with the practicals.
So if I became a Azure Data Factory, sir, can I learn all these things, sir, or any specific two or three? It is strongly enough for like a data Azure Factory, Database, and PySpark, or I can learn everything like a Fabrics or a Synapses.
See, okay, if Everything, if you have got the knowledge, right, you will be, means your job search will be broad.
Okay.
Okay, but if you learn a particular product, right, you are, means as compared to that, as a Azure data engineer, as like a full stack data engineer, a full stack data engineer, you need to have this knowledge about all these things, right? So even companies, they'll be in the job roles, right? They'll be providing ADF, ADB, PySpark, Synapse, like that. They'll be providing, right? Only specifically for some job roles, they'll be providing this Databricks, PySpark, like that. So your job role will be broad if you have got this. Try to get update with all this, but you'll be eligible for all the interviews if you have got knowledge on all this. But if you got some specifically these things, right, only for some interviews you can be, but they'll be also expecting some Synapse analytics knowledge, right? So that's why it is better. This is a total package. The total package, right? So around 3 months we'll be spending on it. So 15,000 is the course fee. Also, you'll be getting knowledge on this Azure related these things, and also you'll be getting video access on this Unix, Linux, MySQL, and Python. And if we talk about the job market of Azure data engineer, right? So, according to Microsoft, right, lakhs of companies getting registered into Azure, and even more than 95% of these Fortune 500 companies are utilizing Azure services. They in turn increasing the number of job opportunities for Azure data engineers constantly. Even the major companies, they're adopting Azure, and organizations or they're shifting to Azure. They're utilizing it regularly. They need of professionals who can work on his Azure and handle this huge data, big data, right? Even if I was talking about the pay scale, right? Data engineers has got the highest average salary as closely as data scientists. Even the two highest paying jobs, data scientist and data engineers, has got the highest paying jobs in today's industry. Even if you see the today industry, that jobs, if you see most of the jobs, a lot of jobs for data scientists and data engineers. So even if you talk companies like Facebook, Intel, Microsoft, Amazon, they are hiring data engineers with great salary packages. You can check the salary package also, 1.5 times more than the other technologies, right? Even tech giants like Google, Apple, Cognizant, Walmart, they're offering high paying jobs to data engineers. So data engineer is a kind of which has got high boom in today's market, today's industry. So choosing this career, right, never let you down, right?
So this is different from other data engineer like Google or AWS. Are those also same, sir? Or,
They say data engineering mainly, okay, data engineering, what we do is just now I was saying data engineer role is like extracting, processing, transforming, right?
yes, sir.
Loading. It will be doing some kind of ETL things, right? Yes. And will be working with all varieties of data. So, yes.
Competition is there, sir, or already jobs are there and people are less there. Those kind of situation.
So, a lot of jobs available data engineer. At the same time, command is required for this. So, if you've got a good command on this, definitely you can hold a job. Mainly, people, this Spice Park, they need to have small. So, as unlike other training sites, will be here will be getting full knowledge on this Spice Park.
Okay, sir.
And also, as you said, right, I also handle GCP data engineer.
Okay.
That is, a weekend batches are available for that. And this is also data engineer. So anything data engineer means you need to have some knowledge on this. If you have got command on that, yes.
Sir, already SQL, Azure SQL is there, is a RDBMS
Mhm.
and Cosmo DB also there. So both are the databases, no, sir. So that is a no
The
SQL database.
Cosmos DB is NoSQL, but
Yeah.
Azure SQL is RDBMS. So it is a relational database for database purpose. It
Okay.
is, but NoSQL means NoSQL means schemaless behavior.
Yeah,
What is SQL
yes.
and NoSQL means not only SQL. See,
Okay.
SQL should have schema,
Yes.
but NoSQL, no schema, schemaless behavior. In the case of SQL, first record to last record, same number of columns has to be maintained. But in NoSQL, my first record with 3 fields, second record with 5 fields, third record with 7 fields, fourth record with 10 fields. Record to record, different number of fields can be maintained. Schemaless behavior, we say. So same like we got MongoDB, HBase, Cassandra, similar to that. Cosmos DB, we have got that to cloud-based NoSQL database. Fine.
In SQL, procedural SQL also needs like TSQL, PLSQL,
No, no, no.
SQL.
TSQL will be using in this, right? TSQL things, right? In Azure Synapse Analytics will be just, but not procedures, all those we won't be using, right?
So procedural SQL.
Basic SQL knowledge is enough.
Okay, okay.
Is Azure SQL and SQL same, sir? Like any difference is there?
Azure SQL Server, right?
Mm.
It's Azure SQL Server. See here, Azure SQL, it is a cloud RDBMS database, just like on-premise RDBMS. This is a cloud RDBMS. Everything, the creating table, inserting everything looks same here also.
Previously, SQL Server database is there.
Just this also Azure SQL Server will be there. Whenever we create instance, whenever we create these things, right? SQL Server, everything that will be created internally.
Sir, both are designed to resolve the same issues, sir, like ADB and Databricks and Azure Data Factory. Like both
Azure,
are ETLs.
Azure Data Factory Azure Data Factory, whatever that available things, right? Whatever the tool is providing, with
Hmm.
that it is totally perform 100% drag and drop. Previously, if you have got knowledge on the informatica, right? 80% drag and drop you do, 20% you write SQL script. That is on premise. But this is
Hmm.
cloud premise, 100% drag and drop. You won't write a single word or single line code or script. Whatever the tool providing, everything you will drag and drop and you will perform that pipelines creations. But in
Oh,
Databricks, right, we'll write code based, everything will be under our control. This will be the cluster creation, everything won't be under our control. This will be everything will be under our control. We'll write the specific code, customized code we'll be writing, and will be everything will be under control. Even some complex operations we can perform using this Databricks. But the data
ye-
factory, there are some things which it cannot handle. If data is like graph data, streaming data, or these things, right? It cannot handle. So it will be, you need to depend on this Databricks developer.
okay. In real time, either any one only we will be working, sir, or we will be working on both.
See, it's frankly speaking, right? Initially, like 5 years ago, or 3 or 4 years back, only like ADF developer used to get jobs. But today,
Hmm.
industry is expecting along with the ADF, we need to compulsory have this knowledge, mostly, right? These things. Databricks,
This, this,
yeah, Azure Databricks and PySpark. Previously, okay, with ADF developer, as a ADF developer, you used to get, you can step into the company as ADF developer. But today, as compared to that, jobs are little less as a ADF developer. You need to have these additional skills, right? All this for getting job in this.
sure, sir.
How it is working environment, sir? It is stressable or pleasurable.
Nothing. It looks very simple and easy. The only thing, if you are attending the sessions regularly and doing the things regularly, right? It looks very simple and easy to understand. It is not at all
Time
no
also.
pressure. It will be very simple if you are regular to the sessions. But if you are this data factory, right? It looks very, very simple, very easy, not less simpler than SQL, I'm saying.
Okay.
This Azure Data Factory, everything will be drag and drop. Very simple. This Databricks also looks very simple and easier, where Spark provided many functions are there. But only thing is you need to just to do the things for better understanding of the next session. Today's session, if you have done it practically, next session will be very simple to understand. If you're not doing the practical part and if you're not exploring, if you're not analyzing it, it may look little difficult, but it looks very simple. I'm saying everything 100% you will understand.
In
Whether if
real time, we are
whether
have to work on database also, sir, for database issues like creating databases, uh, like log shipping, mirroring,
see
those.
that what all those things, right? While doing the task, you can do it along with me parallelly. If any errors you got, immediately you can share the screen. It will be rectified, right?
Okay.
Sir, any fast track available? Like 3 months.
See, fast track means 1 second. See, this many 4 to 5 courses, 4 courses are involved in this.
Yes.
Azure Data Factory is one, Azure Databricks, PySpark, and Azure Synapse Analytics. If you want to go for fast track, like, so one thing what I can suggest you, whenever Data Factory is going on, you can parallelly attend this Databricks or Synapse in other batch of mine. So once you got enrolled, you can attend any of my batches. Once data factory is going on, you can parallelly attend these things, right? For to complete the things fast. But
So fees structure is same, sir.
fast track means 1 second. Even if you want to complete this four components, these four things, right? Okay. The only thing what I suggest is going parallelly if you can spare time. So
Sure.
it takes time as a because not like a fresher, right? We need to have in-depth knowledge about all these things with many working examples to have command on this tool, right? Okay.
Yes.
So you need to spend time, minimum 3 months time is required. Not like 1 month won't be at all sufficient, right? Working with ADF Databricks and that too Synapse. And that too you need to have okay. Any other queries you got anyone? Right. Tomorrow also same time at 7 o'clock using the same link, we see more discussion, right? Any other queries?
No,
Fine. So thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, sir. It is a great.
Okay.
sir.